I apologize for this video coming out late. I have this character being really needy today. He's been jumping behind my monitors. He's been jumping on my keyboard. He's just being a butt. So let's just quickly go over this. Unfortunately, I've kind of already spoiled my initial reaction to the banner. It's just a regular mid-month. It looks like Ulquiorra is going to be pretty damn good. And yeah, so let's quickly go over these characters. Unfortunately, I kind of already gone through all of them, but I want to re-record this video. Otherwise, this video is going to be so long, and I'm going to need to edit out so many parts that it just doesn't even merit. I'm not going to keep the footage. Either way, let's just get right into it. Ulquiorra, he's going to be the first character in this banner. Let's talk about what the banner actually looks like. We have Ulquiorra, we have Yammy, as well as Zommari. Honestly, this banner looks like a standard mid-month. Ulquiorra looks like he's going to actually be, I don't want to say incredible, but he does look really freaking good. Going into the utility skills for this character, right? We have Human Killer, which sucks, but his soul trait is going to be damage to drain enemies plus 35%, which is going to be pretty nice for certain content in GQ when you have a character that has like drain as well as weaken along with bombardment. But going into his utility, like the real utility of this character as a character, like a playable character, we have Havoc 20%. For a mid-month, that's good to have. He's unfortunately the only one in this mid-month to have it. The other SP-based character is going to be Zommari, which we haven't gotten a Zommari in literally 4 years. I think it was like March 31st, 2019. I know that it was 2019, so I know it's at least 4 years, but goddamn. Going back into Ulquiorra, dodge human damage 50%, so you have a half chance to dodge. We have Havoc 20%, so increase radius to your strong attacks 20%. Debilitator plus 2 seconds, standard for drain. We have Sprinter plus 1, strong attack recharge minus 12% as an attainable skill, which is good. Always good to have when you don't have SAR as your soul trait. Joker, you're not. Can you please get the fuck out of here, bro? This motherfucker. Joker! Bro, I'm about to put hot sauce on your butt, bro. Get out. You better stay down. Jesus Christ, bro. This motherfucker's gone behind my fucking monitors like 8 times today. Relax. I want to spray him with water, but I don't want him getting scared of water. I don't hit my cats, but he's still annoying. All right, either way, we have a Debilitator plus 2 seconds, Sprinter, strong attack recharge minus 12%, Sharpshooter, so we do have Nullify range resistance as well as I'm sure that probably fucked up. What is it called? See, this is what I'm talking about. We have Guard Break and then Nullify range resistance, increased status element chance against all mind attribute enemies, which is really good, so the chance of you proccing drain is really high. Then we have the Heart attribute or wrong card damage to status element affected enemies plus 40%, and that's going to go to your entire party. But what like is kind of crazy is this character has plus 75% damage when he procs drain because of that status ailment affected enemies plus 40%. I need to make sure that he's licking himself and not licking something else, bro. Okay, let's see here. Going to the damage, we have damage inflicted at full stam 20%. I threw my chapstick to distract him for a little bit. Okay, cool. So, that's bro, I swear to God. All right, so going to the damage, we have damage inflicted at full stam 45% when you get him to T15 or T20. Let's be real here, that's usually what you go for. Full stamina only increase strong attack damage 40%. This scales separately from the Berserker 40%, so that's always really good to have, especially when you're easily proccing your status element of drain, right? So getting him to full HP, very likely, but not only that, getting the extra damage on these enemies is also very likely. Usually when you have a character with weaken, when you proc weaken, you deal 50% more damage to them when they're weakened and they can't deal damage to you. Well, this character looks like he's going to be dealing 75% more damage to the enemies, but he also heals himself back up to full, causing him to keep his
full stamina only strong attack damage 40%, along with the full stamina damage 45%. That's really good. Then we have the devastation 40%, and keep in mind, hard attribute of rancor damage to status element affected enemies, along with the damage to drain enemies, means that once you do your soul bomb and the enemy gets inflicted with the drain off rip, then you also deal an extra 75% more damage there too. So I really like the idea of this character. As of right now, I don't really have the loadouts of what these characters do just yet. Usually I just wait for Soldex to post it, or perhaps he can post it sometimes, but unfortunately Dexy hasn't posted it yet. Going into Yammy, Yammy looks like he's just going to be a disappointment. His soul trait is going to be the saving grace on this character. I think that's what people are going to want him for. Damage to weaken enemies plus 35%. But he also has this. Team Party Power Attribute or Rancor damage to status ailment affected enemies plus 40%. That's kind of interesting, because we don't really have a power attribute bombardment unit that I'm aware of. Let me actually pull it up. Power or Rancor bombardment unit. I keep forgetting that Eburn isn't considered an Arankar. He's considered a Sternritter or a Quincy. I forget. Let's see here. Does anyone here have bombardment? Oh, Silaporo. Oh, imagine. They made this character for Silaporo, bro. Alright, so let's just go into the utility skills. This character is going to be a GQ unit. As you see here, melee damage plus 10%, 30% in GQ. Killer effect plus 30%, so he has a no affiliation killer, so his killer is going to be plus 50%, plus 50% in GQ, so 70% extra damage in GQ instead of the normal 20%, right? Going into the actual utility of this character, we have fire immunity, sprinter plus 1, enervator, which is pretty good. This is a map-wide pulse at 12% chance to each individual enemy every single 5 seconds. Pretty good, considering that his debilitator also lasts, I believe, I want to say 10 seconds or so. Attainable skills, we have long reach 20%, debilitator plus 5 seconds for the weekend. That's pretty standard. He has poise, he has guard break, no marauder, but I think that's fine, to be honest. And then going into the damage stuff, like, I think that where he's going to shine is the team party power attribute or Rancor damage to status ailment affected enemies plus 40%, because he's going to help soul bomb really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a power attribute or Rancor with like bombardment later on in order to try to supplement the damage that we're going to be needing for very hard GQ. Keep in mind that this doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it for the soul bomb. The fact that you can proc a status element and then immediately deal an extra 40% damage on top of stuff like damage to weaken enemies or damage to paralyze enemies, damage to burn and weaken enemies like Yamamoto, for example, means that skills like this, for example, even though they're very specific and niche because they require a specific attribute as well as affiliation, these can be very strong, considering that these characters are fucking mid-month characters that you shouldn't summon for in the first place. I still don't think that this is worth summoning for, including the Ulquiorra, even though I do like the Ulquiorra. But I think that it's pretty cool to see mid-month characters be somewhat useful. Next, we have Zommari, the character that hasn't been re-released since Can't Fear Your Own World Beyond Resurrection Doodoo version. Zommari, damage inflicted at full stam 30% as his soul trait. Now that's interesting because I don't really see this character being that useful anywhere else. He didn't pick up Havoc, which is really weird. We have strong attack recharge minus 12% as an attainable skill. Like I said before, if you have a soul trait that isn't strong attack recharge, it's always nice to get strong attack recharge. We have guard break, we have long stride, and sprinter plus 2. But the problem with sprinter plus 2 and long stride, in my opinion, is if you don't have a really good build to back it up, you can fly across the battlefield all you'd like. If you're not able to kill the enemies, that's fucked. Like, there's literally no point in you being able to flash that unless you're a bitch like Usopp season 1. You know what I'm saying? So we have frenzy plus 1, berserker 40%, damage inflicted at full stam 20%, goes up to 45% at T15. If you give him full stam 25%, I always have to say that because there's gonna be some idiot that gives him hidden enemies and goes, "That's funny. Spice said plus 45%, but I got 20%." Like, fuck you, kid. Either way, anyways, devastation plus 40%, damage to last rate enemies plus 60%, no increased status element chance, no lacerator skill, no frenzy plus 2 to actually proc the lacerate. It's kind of, in my opinion, useless, to be honest, because this character will get the full stam 50% innate. Actually, that's kind of crazy, 75% full stam, because I didn't even calculate in the soul trait. That's pretty fucking good. It's pretty good. Debilitator plus 2 seconds, Frenzy plus 1. They could have given him at least like Debilitator plus 5 seconds. I know they don't normally do that for Lacerate, or ever for Lacerate, but I feel like if you're not going to give the character Havoc, but you're going to give him like some weird stuff like Sprinter plus 2 Long Stride on a character that can't really destroy a battle. Like, if you destroy a battlefield, right? Like say 6th Anniversary Aizen. Like, that character can make use of Sprinter plus 2 Long Stride because his beam will literally one-shot the entirety of, like, whatever's in front of you. And I suppose you could give him Sprinter Long Stride through the T20 skill, but full stamina damage use 25% is just busted as shit. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the banner. Like, I really feel like Ulquiorra is the only one to really discuss in depth, but I do like the that Yammy is a GQ unit for no affiliation week. If you're a tryhard in GQ, this shit doesn't apply to you, but for newer players who actually need good GQ units, keep in mind the newer players aren't going to be able to clear very hard GQ when that garbage comes out. So I like the idea of K-Lab coming out with more units that can actually help these newer players out. Next, Zommari. Like, I don't really see either of these characters being all that great for regular content, but for GQ I like Yammy, and I'll be real with y'all, I don't see the point of Zommari outside of a full stam 30% link. I don't see a reason why you would play this character unless you really like Dennis Rodman, and you're like role playing as Dennis Rodman. Why you would want to do that is fucking beyond me, but whatever.